Number 39, to become a master at anything, you must have no tension at all. The body will just flow at a level of mastery and the tension will evaporate. All right. And if you watch anyone at their highest level of competition, professional athletes, they just flow. They don't have to think because they've trained everything and their subconscious is just doing things automatically. Okay. So release that tension in order to get to that high level of competition. Next, do not let other people's circumstances invoke fear into your mind. And so what happens is that other people try to project their insecurity on you. They try to project their fear, their doubts, and all the information that they don't know that you have. Okay? Don't listen to them. You should never be afraid of a thought. You should never be afraid of someone else. And you should never let that thing determine the decision that you're going to make for your life. Okay? Make your own decisions. Don't let other people invoke their insecurity, their fear, their jealousy, their doubt, whatever it is. Don't let them do that. Okay? Never be afraid of a thought, especially not one from someone else. Next, progress, progress, progress. That is the only way that things ever move. Okay? Your life is all about making progress. Okay? If you look at, going to the gym and getting in great shape, that is all about making progress. You don't wake up one day and you're just in super great shape. It doesn't happen, okay? What happens is that you start to get some abs, and then you start to get some biceps, and then you start to get some great shoulders, and then you start to get a great chest, and you build it, okay? It's all about progress. It never just happens immediately. And you have to recognize that. Show yourself some love. Okay, so sometimes we focus so much on what we have to do next, what we have to get next, where we need to go, that we never take a moment to show ourselves some love. And so we have our mental and physical reality, but we also have our emotional reality. And so when we don't reward ourselves and we don't show ourselves any greatness or satisfaction, what happens is that we get emotionally burnt out. And that part of your life does exist. And even if you're trying to go really hard at something, you still have to pay some attention to it. And that can just be by showing yourself some love. Next, if you've never felt good at anything, just know that you can be the absolute best at the things that matter. Okay, so most people weren't, superstars in elementary, or they weren't, superstars in middle school or on the varsity football team or whatever it was. All right, you weren't that person. Or I wasn't that person. And so when I wasn't that person, I felt like, my life isn't as good as that all these other people are living up their lives and their lives are great and they have all this status and they get everything that they want. In reality, I realized that there were a few decisions that I'm going to have to make in my life. And those decisions can be on the things that matter absolutely most. Because I knew that the varsity football team didn't really matter for 99% of the kids there. And what does matter is the things that I choose outside of that. Specifically, going to the gym, what relationships do I have? Those sort of thoughts, those sort of decisions that I'm going to have to make in my life, I knew that if I made those right, I would beat all of those people who got on those teams when, my parents didn't let me. When that situation arose, I was like, you know what? I'm going to make the best decisions. And I'm going to get really good at them. Next. You just need the skill to be in you. School teaches you. It teaches your brain. All right? It doesn't teach anything else. When you have the information, when you have the ability to execute on something, go for it, okay? Because it's not going to come to you. There's nothing in your environment that makes things happen. It's just you. And so when you have that skill, when you have that authority to go do something, you should go do it. Because what school teaches you is, it teaches you how to think about this specific thing, or what you need to do in this specific situation, okay? And so your life is no different. When you have the skills and when you have the knowledge to go do something, go do it. Next, your brain is super simple, all right? Your brain is just a connection of neurons. So in your brain, it's just connecting a bunch of dots. And the more dots that connect on a specific topic, the more you care about that topic. And the more they fire, the more you think about it. And specifically, the stronger they fire, the better you remember it, okay? And that is why I write things down. Because when I do something new, like writing something out, instead of just talking or thinking about it, right, it helps me connect new dots. And if I really want to optimize, if I really want to connect all the dots, I write something down, I talk about it, and I think about it. Next, narrow decisions down to binary. Remove all the noise and choose between two things. This will make you move super fast. When you think about going to the gym, there is going to the gym and not going to the gym. Now, not going to the gym has all these excuses. I'm going to go do this. I'm going to go do that. It's all noise. Break it down to two things. I will either go to the gym or I will not go to the gym. Okay? And make the decision from there. Break things down to binary. Okay? And that's going to allow you to move much quicker. Okay? And as well, speed is necessary to outperform other people. There's going to be a time limit to every competition. You don't have to be first, but you have to get there before the opportunity disappears. And so if you see your opportunity fading away from you, you better act fast. Because if you don't, the competition's going to overinvest on it, and they're going to take everything that they need, and they're going to try to beat you. Okay? So move quickly. Don't let things slip by you, because they're not going to be there forever. Consider the exact outcome you will get from your choice. Choose exactly what you want to happen, okay? So if you're looking at a choice and you need to make a decision in your life moving forward, what you need to do is you need to consider what exactly will happen once this occurs. Is it the things that I want? And if it's not, how can I make it the things that I want? How can I curtail this to be better or more like I want it to be in my life? Okay, you have to consider this stuff before you make a decision. Next, anticipate upcoming and future problems. And this, you should do this so you never get caught off guard. You always want to be prepared for the future. You want to analyze as much information as you can so you can figure out what's going to happen. Because you don't want to get caught in a situation where, oh my God, I didn't expect that to happen. You don't want that. What you want to happen is you want to step into that situation. You want to be like, I am prepared in this situation. I knew that this was going to happen. I knew that I was going to run into this hurdle, or I was going to get into this situation where I was going to have to do something. So don't get caught off guard. Decisions and goals operate in two dimensions. If you do not choose the best path, you automatically choose the default path, which can be, sometimes it can suck, it can be the worst path, it can be a loser's path. It depends on the game you're playing. But you want to choose the best path anyways, okay? So don't pay attention to the default path. It's often not going to lead you to a life you want to live. What it is going to lead you to is a pool of people that are all sort of similar, okay? And you want to not be over there. Okay, if you want to live an unaverage life, if you want to live a life that's better than other people, then you have to do unaverage things. You can't be in that safe pool where everything's okay. You have to do something different. Okay? So, next, if you want to do something, find the incremental actions required to do it, and then focus on that first step until you're competent. Okay, so there's going to be a ladder that you have to climb in order to get something done. So focus on that first step until you feel like, okay, now I can do it. Now I can go take action on it. And now I can be who I need to be in order to get it done. You want to feel that confidence, because then you remove all of the doubt not necessary, all the hurdles that come up and all that, you can ignore all of them and then you can just go. Do something until you reach your own version of how you see perfection with it. Okay, so there are different types of perfection in life. All right, there's personal perfection, there's actual perfection, and there's perfection based on certain standards and stuff. You want to find your own version of perfection. In my opinion, that's the best way to live life, because then you have fulfilled everything that you have set out to do. Okay? So when you have to reach your own version of perfection, it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be a cakewalk. What you want it to be is you want it to be hard, because it's going to make you better, and it's going to make your life, it's going to make you a more fortified person. Next, only choose one path at a time. Center your commitment to one long-term goal until the train is on the tracks. Okay? So when you have to go through life, there's going to be all sorts of opportunities. You're going to see opportunities to go do this and go do that. You have to choose one long-term goal, and then you have to commit to it completely. And you have to wipe stuff out. And I mean, you got to wipe stuff out like crazy. You got to get rid of all sorts of stuff. And it's hard and it's not fun, but when you want to commit to something, when you want your life to go a certain way, you've got to commit and you've got to erase all sorts of stuff. Next, get better at everything all of the time. Do not lack skill in what you care about. If you care about your life more than other people, do not be worse at life than other people. Okay? And that involves, certain things, right? I mean, do you want to be bad at like being in shape? Like out of all the things that I can think of in life, health is the one thing that I would not want to be bad at. Okay? So get better all the time. Next, you can always get better. Never tell yourself that you can't get any better. Okay? Not getting any better doesn't even exist. All right? It's not possible, because everything exists in this gray area. And even if you nail the standards to 100% and you got 100% on the test, there's probably some words you didn't know in the test, or, that test isn't comprehensive to everything. Okay? So you always want to make sure that you get better, learn more information, that you're prepared for the next test and the next one. You want to be better than the test. Okay? The test is a standard. All right? But what the test isn't, is it isn't comprehensive of everything. All right? So never tell yourself you can't get any better. You can. Turn your brain off when doing it. All right? Trust your warm-up, trust your prep, trust your setup, and then let your body just take on to it. All right? So once you put everything in place, once you set everything up, just say, okay, I've set everything up now. Now it's time to go. And that might not involve some thinking or some things that you wanted to happen, but what it is going to involve you taking action, and it's going to involve you taking action quickly, and that's what you want. If you are unable to commit to things in your life, you are somewhat worthless as a person. And so because when you have a job in your life, okay, if you can't commit to your job, if you can't commit to waking up early in the morning, you don't have a job, okay? And so if you can't commit to relationships, you can't have friends. And if you can't commit to going to the gym, then you can't be healthy. And so the things that you can't commit to are what make you less of a person. So find the things to commit to that are worth committing to, and then take them on. And take them on like crazy. Because you don't want to live a life where you're out of commitment, where you don't live in commitment, because what's going to happen is you're going to be floating around. You don't want to be floating around. All right? Commit to the big stuff and treat it super serious. When your emotions get wrapped up in things like girlfriends, make the rational decision first, and then you can allow yourself to be free. Okay? So, commit to that big stuff, man. Screw your emotions. Make that rational decision on that girl, on that relationship, on that job. And then you can be like, okay, I've done it now. Now I can enjoy it. Okay? And that's what I want for you.